It is the best time of the month. It is time to choose my June TBR using my TBR jar, but as you can see, I have a very large stack of hauled books that I need to integrate onto the cart. So first we're gonna do a little bit of a TBR refresh. I'm gonna take off some of the books that haven't sounded super interesting to me lately and try to get all of these onto here where I really only have room for 5 books currently, but let's do some rearranging. I'm gonna start at the bottom. There's a lot of books I could take off the bottom that just haven't really been calling out to me lately. A lot of classics that I fear I just don't want to dip my toe into at current, like The Count of Monte Cristo, The Tale of Two Cities, Pride and Prejudice. This book, The Midnight Library, I have never once wanted to pick up. I got it from a little free library and it's been sitting here for probably over a year. So I'm gonna put this back in a little free library. I'm never gonna read it. This is a short story collection by Stephen King. I'm gonna put her to the back of the cart for now. Same with Roadwork by Stephen King. This one doesn't sound all that interesting right now. Ton of room opened up on the bottom. Let's look on our second shelf. This is a nonfiction book about the birth of the FBI, which I'm definitely still interested in reading, but probably more so as an audiobook. Another classic we can move to the back, Moby Dick. It's not happening. Same with this little one by Leo Tolstoy. The Woman in the Window. Clearly I've tried to read this before and clearly it hasn't gone particularly well. And The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store. I just haven't really felt compelled to pick this one up. No particular reason, I just haven't really cared. I think this might be enough room. Well, actually, the math is not mathing because why would I think that this stack of books would be able to fill in this stack of books into the cart? Well, let's try anyway. I'm gonna try to do hardcovers on the top because it's just easier to slot them in that way. Too many hardcovers and not enough space. Actually, look at that. They fit perfect. Look at that, it worked perfectly. Okay, I still have that stack of books off to the side in case I feel inclined to pull any of them for some reason. But you know how this works. We're gonna choose 5 TBR prompts and then we're going to choose an accompanying book and those will be the books that end up on my June TBR. Should I read them or not? Hopefully, yes, I will. I'm very excited now that my TBR is refreshed. Let's choose our first choice. Okay, I have too many of these, clearly. Number 1 is something in the middle row. Okay, that's perfect since we just did some rearranging. Let's see what we have. I actually only added 2 new books to the middle row, so that's a little disappointing, but we'll persevere. This is definitely a top contender. This is Poison Study by Maria V. Snyder. This is the first book in a, I think, young adult fantasy series. Either way, it's about a woman who is about to be imprisoned and put to death, but she instead chooses to be a poison taster for the king or the commander of this fantastical country. I think this sounds so fascinating and it's on my 26 and 2026 TBR, so that would actually be quite perfect. House of Leaves is the other new book on this row, but I'm scared. I'm scared. I need time. I need time for this one. The Book Club for Troublesome Woman is another one I'm very much interested in. This is about a group of women who, you know, are housewives feeling a little bit dissatisfied when they start a book club where they read a feminist novel and they kind of put to words the thoughts that they're having, the feelings that they're having. And let's choose one more to choose between. I'm also gonna choose Player Piano, not necessarily because I think it's gonna win this book off, but it's because it's on my 26 and 2026 list and I just really feel like I gotta get a hustle going with that. I'm not even halfway through and we're just about halfway through the year. This is by Kurt Vonnegut Jr., who is better known for Slaughterhouse-Five, but it's I think his first novel. It's about a person who lives in a world dominated by a supercomputer and run completely by machines. So it sounds very topical for, you know, current days. So these are my 3 options. And I feel a little silly for choosing 3 options because I think I'm just gonna go with the first one I chose. Listen, you know it's a sickness. When you buy new books, your old books don't get prioritized anymore. It's the new ones that get the priority. So we're going to go with Poison Study by Maria V. Snyder. I'm so excited to read this one. And if I like it, there's like 4 or 5 more books in this series. So, excellent. I definitely have this thing overstuffed. It's very hard to choose any that are like in the middle or bottom. Okay, we'll go with this one. This one says, nature on cover. Kind of ambiguous, but trees, flowers, lakes, bodies of water, anything like that will do. Do animals count as nature in this here scenario? Because I don't know if you're seeing this, but there's a bird on here. Is a bird nature? I feel like perhaps not, especially if there are better options. There's a lot of greenery up here. Like ivy and trees, that's a good option. The same kind of question, is a bee nature? And actually, this is a really pretty cover. There's like this grass scene inside the bee. That's cool. Forget Me Not has a lot of flowers. It's just about summer, so it would be a good time to read a wedding romance book. I'm getting quite the stack here. I probably don't need this many options. Oh, if you want to talk about nature, the Poisonwood Bible. This is a very naturey book. So, oh, and again, speaking of nature, we have a very naturey book, Barbara Kingsolver's Prodigal Summer, which it has summer in the name. Okay, I think I've chosen too many choices here, and unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to draw the line somewhere. So we're gonna say that a bird is not nature. I'm gonna think more of, you know, plant life nature. So we'll put back Silver Elite. And for that same reason, I will put away Let Us Descend. Oh, actually, I know I have already so many options. Beasts of a Little Land is also very naturey, in case anybody was wondering. These are actually almost all new picks. I'm trying to think about my June, if I'm gonna be busy this June, but I feel like I'm not, so I feel like I could start reading some longer books. I'm gonna narrow it down to 2, which is hard because I'm indecisive. I'm gonna eliminate Prodigal Summer by Barbara Kingsolver because I feel like it's gonna be very similar to The Overstory by Richard Powers that I just finished, and I feel like I'm gonna need a little bit more time to ruminate between those two. And I know I just pulled this one, so why even bother pulling it, but I'm gonna put it back because I'm not feeling it right now. When We Were Silent. So this is, I believe, like a dark academia type mystery. This is a historical fiction, and this is obviously a romance. I'm gonna also put back this one, leaving us in between Barbara Kingsolver's The Poisonwood Bible. Oh, I literally chose 2 Barbara Kingsolver books, I didn't even notice. And Julie Soto's Forget Me Not. I'm really interested in reading this one, but this one's on my spring TBR, and we only have so much more spring before it's over. And I've had this one for longer, so I think I have to prioritize some of my older books on the TBR. So we're gonna go with Forget Me Not by Julie Soto. It is about a wedding planner and a florist who are exes, but they get back together to do a celebrity wedding. I think it'll be a quick, easy read in this particular season. There we go. So far we have 2 choices from the middle row. Let's see what the 3rd choice will get us. Gonna give it a good shake. Although I feel like I've been getting pretty decent prompts. Okay. After I say that, I'll probably get like the worst possible thing. It's gonna say, pick the shittiest, most terrible book on your TBR. Okay. A book I bought used. That's great because I actually bought both of these used. I buy a lot of books used. And from my last book haul, a lot of these were bought used. So that should be easy. I'm not gonna say every single one I bought used, but it's a lot of them. Let's see, we have a fantasy and a romance. So I'm thinking I want something like either historical or literary fiction, maybe horror. I don't know if I want horror for summer. This is kind of a short and sweet one that's also been on the TBR for a while. I think I got this from Pango Books. It's Orphan Train by Christina Baker Klein. I don't even know what it's about. It's just been on my GoodReads TBR for God knows how long. Player Piano, once again, I bought that used. I don't know, should I pull Firefly Lane? Is reading a Kristen Hanna book like the most depressing thing you've ever done in your life? Because it is for me, although I think this is more just general fiction. It's set in 1974, so I wouldn't consider that historical. And it's about, I think, just 2 best friends becoming best friends and maybe drifting apart and stuff like that. I don't know, I've heard really good things. Let me quickly look what this one's about, because I'm gonna choose from one of these 3. This is historical fiction. It's between 1854 and 1929. So-called orphan trains ran regularly from the cities of the East Coast to the farmlands of the Midwest, carrying thousands of abandoned children whose fates would be determined by pure luck. Would they be adopted by a kind and loving family, or would they face a childhood and adolescence of hard labor and servitude? This one sounds like maybe just the slightest bit similar to Before We Were Yours that I read last month, and I really, really enjoyed that book. And this one's kind of short and sweet, so I think I'm gonna go with this one, Orphan Train by Christina Baker Klein. Yeah, it sounds good. I'm excited. Very random, I feel, TBR at current, but it's looking good so far. Let's go in for our 4th selection. Okay. A 3-word title. All right, let's see what we got. The Whisper Man, Lost Children Archive, The Glass Hotel, Let Us Descend, The It Girl, Freedom is, no, that's 4. I can't count. The Poisonwood Bible, These Nameless Things, Dragonfly and Amber, World War Z. Oh, The Underground Railroad. Okay, let me pull a couple, because that's what I do. I pull far too many, and then I choose the one that I immediately knew I wanted to choose. Oh, what time is it? Because the bells are ringing. I live near to a church, and it's 3 o'clock, so on the hour they ring. Okay, The Whisper Man Dragonfly and Amber. I'm gonna do The It Girl by Ruth Ware because I feel like this has been on my TBR and I've never even like once considered it. So let's see what it's about because I feel like I've read 2 Ruth Ware books. I've liked one of them and I've liked one a little bit less. So let's see. This one is about April Clark, who's vivacious, bright, occasionally vicious, and the ultimate it girl. She quickly pulled Hannah into her dazzling orbit. Together they cultivated a group of devoted and inseparable friends. By the end of the year, April was dead. I mean, it sounds kind of interesting. This is The Whisper Man. It's a horror book. Do I want a horror book in June? It's about a serial killer who would like lure his victims to the window by whispering. I don't know how that would ever work, but it did. And so even though the guy was convicted, these type of crimes start happening again. And then we have Dragonfly and Amber. Am I insane or am I insane? But I read the first book, Outlander, last summer, and I just have very fond memories of reading in the pool this giant huge floppy paperback, and I kind of want to recreate those vibes this summer reading the second book in the pool. And it's only 740 pages. I mean, I just read The Hero of Ages and I survived, so I think call me crazy, I'm going to choose Dragonfly and Amber by Diana Gabaldon. I still don't know how to say her name, unfortunately. This is a historical fiction series where, you know, Claire Randall goes back in time accidentally, where she is in love with the Scot Jamie Fraser, and I just want to see where their journey takes them. It's been a while since I've watched the show. It's been a while since I read the first book, but I have a feeling I'm gonna jump right back into this, no problem. Let us choose our final choice. I feel like this is not quite what I expected for my June TBR, but I mean, I'm not mad at it. I'm certainly not mad, but I'm curious to see what our final pick will be. Okay, we'll go with this one. And it says, most recently obtained. Lucky for me, I did a big book haul, and all these books were obtained at about the same time. So I'm gonna count it. Any of these books from my book haul, I'm gonna count as recently obtained, since they were all about the same time. So any of these new books, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. And I think I'm gonna go for one of these two. These are 2 books that my lovely boyfriend bought for me for my birthday. We have 2 iconic dystopian fantasy series that are going around right now. We have Silver Elite by Danny Francis and Conform by Ariel Sullivan. And I've got to say, I'm really excited for both of them. And the synopses don't really even sound that drastically different. So I feel like I could go with either of them and be happy. This one recently had the second book published, so I think that might be fun to be able to directly go into a second book should I like this one, whereas this one is going to be part of a bigger series that only has one other book release, and that's more of a prequel. So I don't really want to be like dealing with that anticipation, so I think I'm gonna go with the Silver Elite. I know this book doesn't have the most rave reviews, but I'm very excited for it. I just reread Hunger Games for the first time ever in my life, and ooh, those dystopian vibes are so amazing, and I really can't wait to read an adult dystopian fantasy romance. Is that enough buzzwords for you? So to the TBR, we have Silver Elite by Danny Francis. Whoever that is. Did we ever figure out who Danny Francis was? I don't think so. So let's do a quick recap. For a book in my middle row, we chose Poison Study by Maria V. Snyder. For a book with nature on the cover, I chose Forget Me Not by Julie Soto. For a book I bought used, I chose Orphan Train by Christina Baker Klein. For a book with a 3-word title, I chose Dragonfly in Amber. And finally, a book that was most recently obtained, I have Silver Elite by Danny Francis. I am so excited about this stack of books. Oh my word. So here she is. Here's my beautiful stack for June. Hopefully I will get a lot of reading done this month. I'm very excited to have a lot of free time. Now, well, that's not even true. I was gonna say my semester's over, but I'm taking an asynchronous course in June before I graduate, so I won't have that much free time, but we'll try our darndest. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what's on your June TBR. I would love to know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more videos. I'll see you next time. Peace out, Girl Scout, and goodbye!